Everybody here? Boop, 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 boop. Good evening. City Council is now in session. Please be advised that Councilman Rector will not be in attendance and has been excused. At this time, please stand for the invocation by Councilmember Butler Barlow, which will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Let's pray together. As we meet tonight, we take a moment to ask for blessings on we, the public servants in the government of this city of Suffolk, that we may do our work in a spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice. Help us to use our authority to serve faithfully and to promote our common life together. We ask for blessings on the staff of this same city. Let them do their work in the spirit of service to the community with patience, respect, and care for all citizens. We ask for blessings on the citizens of Suffolk, that we, in times of conflict, engage one another without hatred or bitterness, that we listen for the voice of reason amid competing claims, and that we work together with mutual forbearance and respect. We ask for blessings on all the voters in this election year. Help us elect trustworthy leaders, give us the wisdom to make the right choices for the benefit of our communities, and inspire us to serve all of our neighbors without regard to our own personal gain. And we ask finally for blessings on the leaders of our Commonwealth and of our country, that they may inspire us to be at peace among ourselves and to be a blessing to all other nations on the earth. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Freedom of Information Act certification is required at this time. Madam Clerk, please present the resolution for consideration.
A resolution certifying the closed meeting of March the 6th, 2024 pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3712 as amended. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Suffolk hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from the open meeting requirements of Virginia law, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered by the City Council of the City of Suffolk in the closed meeting.
Council, a motion be in order. Councilman Fawcett.
Move to approve,
A
Mayor.
motion for approval from Councilman Fawcett. Councilman Williams.
Second that, Mayor.
Second from Councilman Williams. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, councilman members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
Motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
We now move to approval of the minutes from the January 3rd, 2024 work session and regular session. And a motion would be in order. Council. Councilman Williams.
Move to approve.
Motion for approval from Councilman Williams. Councilman Bennett.
Second.
Second from Councilman Bennett. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
Motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
We have no special presentations this evening. We also have no items on the consent agenda, so a motion would be in order to adopt the agenda as presented. Councilman Fawcett.
Move to approve.
Motion for approval from Councilman Fawcett. Councilman Johnson.
Second.
Second from Councilman Johnson. Is there any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
The motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
Madam Clerk, do we have any agenda speakers at this time?
No, Mayor Duman.
Okay, we have no public hearings. We do have an ordinance adopting the agreement for mutual aid, fire, and rescue services among localities in Hampton Roads. Mr. Manager, please present an overview.
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, at this time I'm going to invite Chief Mike Baraki to the podium to give the overview on this topic.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, it's my honor to be standing in front of you today to discuss this ordinance regarding the agreement for mutual aid, fire and rescue services amongst our localities in Hampton Roads. The amendment that you're going to work today on the ordinance to adopt will replace one that was last signed by the leadership in Hampton Roads to include the city managers, approved for legal by our city attorneys. The fire chiefs all signed, and the last time that was done was April 1 of 2011. As you can imagine, a lot of things have changed in the Hampton Roads communities since 2011, and not only the technologies and the abilities of fire rescue services, but certainly with the localities who would like to be part of it. Your counties and cities that are currently in the agreement that will remain will be Chesapeake, Franklin, Hampton, Newport News, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk, and Virginia Beach, and then now the counties as well, James City, Isle of Wight, and York. But what we're going to do is look at adding the city of Poquoson, the counties of Gloucester, Southampton, and Surrey. They all have been asking for many years to be added to this agreement. When I was fortunate enough, with Mr. Moore's blessing, to become the chair of the Hampton Roads Fire Chiefs last year, we started looking at Hampton Roads again as a whole and where Hampton Roads is now as it was compared to in 2011. And certainly we feel like on the peninsula of Poquoson and Gloucester, and on our side, Southampton and Surrey, that we feel like should be added, and they agreed upon it. The other thing that has changed from the agreement that was last signed in 2011, that it allows for 2 or more agencies to be designated automatic aid response agencies or areas of those agencies, for which, as you know from a previous signature from an ordinance, that you have allowed us to enter auto aid agreements, and for which we do in the Southampton Roads communities. The goal of this agreement, for which the ordinance is for, is to provide mutual aid, and we all agree in the Hampton Roads Fire and Rescue communities that it's a benefit of all of Hampton Roads. With that, we can share apparatus, and the apparatus could be your fire engines, your ladder companies, rescue companies, your medics, or your ambulances, and also specialty equipment to include your technical rescue, hazmat, marine, and our communications. With that included our firefighters, officers, the paramedics, the specialty team members, which include, of course, tech rescue, hazmat, marine, shipboard, and communications. What's unique about this agreement is when a request for mutual aid or auto aid is, the agreement is amongst what is requested. So if a shipboard fire came in the port of Norfolk, for example, the request might be for shipboard firefighters, in which we would provide that. It's not necessarily always fire trucks or ambulances and all, although that's the majority of what is provided, is your equipment with your people. I feel like this is a success to talk about how often the metrics or the data associated with it. Just last calendar year, 2023, the city of Suffolk either sent or received mutual aid or auto aid, and they're one and the same in a way, 462 times in that calendar year. Some common examples that happen every day would be Medic 5 and Suffolk Medic 5 and Suffolk Medic 10 into the cities of Portsmouth and Chesapeake. On the return, the Portsmouth medics Portsmouth and Chesapeake medics into our city. We have a very good relation with Isle of Wight on the mutual aid side, in which Engine 9 and Medic 9, but most notably Engine 9 from Chuckatuck, is in Isle of Wight quite often. Down there in the Station 7 or in the Holland area, Carsville provides their tanker and their medic into the city of Suffolk quite often. In return, we provide Station 7 or Holland's fire apparatus and medics into the Carsville section of Isle of Wight. Very common as well, Ladder 11 and Engine 25 and our medic units and battalion are quite often in the city of Newport News on the Monitor Merrimack in a mutual aid agreement to provide northbound services, and Newport News in return provides southbound services to us. So you'll see a Newport News fire truck, battalion, rescue company, medic in the city of Suffolk sometimes, because the way the road network is, they might be first due to our citizens. So that's another common example that occurs. And with that, Mr. Moore and council, I'll be glad to field any questions or provide you more clarity.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Council, any questions or comments? Councilman Fawcett?
Now, the only thing I'd like to say, Chief, is sharing the services is exactly what this thing is going to do, because it's going to come down to it that each one of us are going to need some support mechanism from another agency from within the Hampton Roads or 757 area. So, you know, I've been quite familiar with mutual aid agreements for a number of years, and they do work. The shared services is paramount. particularly with each city not knowing what could happen, that you might need extra people for whatever reason. I can remember us pulling in at one of my Little Creek bases at one time where we had a captain that was trapped underneath in a confined space, and we brought people from all over the cities to help us with that operation that took 18 hours to complete. So, that's pretty paramount. He managed to not make it. It was a recovery at the end, but the task was overwhelming. So, I think this is a great thing for all of us in all the Hampton Road cities, and we're lucky that we have that capability to be able to share this. So I look forward to it. With that, Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve that ordinance.
Okay, we got a motion for approval from Councilman Fawcett, Councilman Williams.
I'd like to second that, Mayor.
We got a second from Councilman Williams. Do we have any further discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
Motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
We have no resolutions this evening. We do have one staff report regarding the Godwin Boulevard widening and Route 1058 diverging Diamond interchange update. Mr. Manager, please provide an overview.
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of council, providing this presentation is going to be Darrell Lewis, Assistant Director of Public Works.
I want to say good evening to you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, members of council, and city staff. I'm here to give what I think is an exciting update for two new projects that we've initiated in the city. And as you can see on the screen, they are the Godwin Boulevard widening and the Route 10 diverging diamond interchange, which I'm going to call DDI because I'll probably trip over that. I'm going to start with the Godwin Boulevard widening. Let me give you a little bit of background and history on it first of all. Originally, the Godwin Boulevard was designed to be 6 lanes, but it was constructed with the 4-lane configuration that we have today. But the good part about that, at that time, they did purchase the right-of-way that would be needed for the 6-lane widening that we'll be using in this project. As you know, along this corridor, because of development, congestion has become an issue. About 4 years ago, we engaged VDOT and asked them if they would do a study to study this corridor. And the results were, they quantified and verified that indeed we needed to widen this corridor. So with that, we applied for smart scale funding and was awarded that a couple years ago. So in January of this year, we just kicked this project off. As was stated, this is a widening project, so we will be widening in the median area. That's where the right-of-way is that we own. So there's no worries about any takes on the outside where all the businesses are. So with this project, we will have curb and gutter on the outside. We're going to make sure that everything is ADA compliant. We will build a 5-foot sidewalk on the west side. There is currently a sidewalk there, so any gaps that currently exist, we will fill in. And on the east side, we will construct a 10-foot multi-use path. Now, this will line up with the Birthplace of America Trail that's coming out of Isle of Wight down Route 10. Will come down and then eventually make it down to Constance Wharf. Along this corridor also there's 7 intersections with signals, and there's a couple of them that will probably need to be reconstructed, a couple that will need to be partially reconstructed, and then the other 2, some minor tweaks to make everything work. On the screen, you'll see a high-level aerial of the project. It basically goes from Kings Fork Road down to the Suffolk bypass. Currently, as I stated earlier, we are surveying everything right now, probably going to be out there surveying for another 2.5 to 3 months. And on this screen, you'll see the proposed schedule, design until summer of next year, and then we'll do a right-of-way phase for about a year, and anticipate about 2 years for construction. And then you can see the total budget there of $11 million to build the project. Next, I will talk about the second project, the Virgin Diamond Interchange. And also to give a little background on that, these have been around since the late 70s. In fact, the first one built was in France in the late 70s. The first DDI built here in America was in 2009 in Missouri, which a lot of the designs here in the United States use as a model. Right now, there are about 150 of these in existence in our country, and another 80 of them that are in some phase of either development or construction like ours here. What is a DDI? And at the end, I'm going to kind of show a video to kind of explain it a little bit better. But essentially, you're taking traffic and reversing, putting them on opposite sides. So why a DDI and what are the benefits of a DDI? Well, I think I have about 3 points that I'll make to kind of explain what the benefits are. The first one is related to safety. So the DDI, as compared to what we have now, the partial cloverleaf, it reduces conflict points from 18 to 8. And essentially a conflict point is anywhere where cars can cross or collide. But more importantly, the crossing conflict is reduced from 10 conflict points to 2 conflict points. Along this corridor, in that study that VDOT did, it showed that the angle accident was the number 2 accident along this corridor. So with this, those angles would be reduced. The second point that I want to make has to do with the signals. The DDI can essentially run with just 2 signals in 2 phases, one at either end. What that does is, and then these signals can be timed, have shorter cycle lengths. So what that does is it reduces delay, it allows more vehicles to get through the intersection and increases the capacity. Now the existing interchange that we have there, I believe it has 8 traffic phases now. So with this, you can do it with 2. And then lastly, because you're switching the direction of traffic, the left turns benefit from this. So normally with a left turn, you have to create a turn lane, and depending on whether the signal is a permissive or a protected motion, you would sit there and either wait for your turn in the cycle to advance or finding a gap to go across. So with this, essentially the left turns become free flow, and there's no conflict, no crossing conflicts that we spoke of earlier. Here is a concept for what it will look like with the traffic switching sides. As you can see here, 3 of the 4 quadrants will pretty much work for us now. The southwest quadrant, or the upper left one, we'll redesign that ramp, and actually we'll make that a 2-lane come into 1, because that's one of the bottlenecks for traffic there. This project, the DDI and the Godwin Boulevard, since they're right next to each other, we're going to construct them together as one continuous project. So their schedules will run together. And as I stated with the widening project, this project is also in the preliminary phases, and they're out there surveying. The schedule that I showed earlier is the same. We'll be out in design until next summer, about a year for a right-of-way phase, and then 2 years to complete construction. And there's the total cost for the project of $16.4 million. And with that, I will just show you a video.
Diverging diamond interchanges are used all around the world, built where interstates meet busy local roadways. DDIs help improve safety and mobility for drivers, pedestrians, and bicyclists. This is how a diverging diamond works. As traffic on the local road approaches the interstate, it switches sides at a traffic signal. After traveling over or under the interstate, traffic switches back at another traffic signal. By moving traffic to the other side of the road, the DDI eliminates the need for left turns across oncoming traffic. It also reduces the number of traffic light phases, allowing more cars to travel through the interchange. And when exiting the interstate onto the local road, drivers are able to make right turns and left turns easily. DDIs also reduce the number of conflict points, or places where vehicles cross paths. To learn more about diverging diamond interchanges, visit fdot.tips/DDI.
And with that, that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions I may ask?
Great presentation, and I appreciate it. On the first one, on the Godwin Boulevard, you said there was going to be 7 locations where there's traffic signals.
Right.
I'm hoping that you can find a way to synchronize those 7 traffic signals so that we're not going and stopping, going and stopping and going. They need to be continuous, like we've been trying to get 17 to do between Harborview Boulevard and just out there past the Burger King on 17. If not, it just bottlenecks. And then some of the side streets need to have a shorter timer on them so that the traffic going north and south particularly can move better. This DDI, this similar DDI sits over in Norfolk right there on Northampton Boulevard and Military Highway. There's a DDI there because, and it's kind of crazy. It's going to be a little bit crazy for people to get used to, that they're going to be crossing over in the lanes, and that's a hard thing for people to get used to, but it works. And it, I've used it several times over there, so that's a pretty cool thing to be able to have that kind of a setup. And the traffic's going to move a whole lot better anyway with that DDI in place. So I just wanted to make that point, and I really do appreciate the presentation. I thought it was pretty good. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Council, any other questions or comments? Thank you for your presentation. I do have one question. I noticed in both the schedules and right-of-way acquisition,
Yes.
I mean, we've allocated a full year for right-of-way, 625 to 626, and I mean, just looking at this, with most of it having to come out of the median anyhow, it doesn't look like there's that much time would be needed on that minimal amount of right-of-way acquisition. I mean, is that kind of a worst-case scenario, or it looks like something we could do in 4, 5, 6 months?
It's conservative, and, there's always those unknowns that could pop up. We don't anticipate anything being there, and then, that'll allow us to get ahead and finish it quicker, so.
So there's a chance this whole schedule could be moved up a little bit if the...
There's a possibility, yes.
Okay.
For the right of way.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my arms around it. I've seen the video, I've looked at the thing and looked at the diagram, and I've got a headache, so I'm gonna have to, that's why I don't do engineering. I can't wrap my arms around it. But anything that helps, I mean, this has to be one of the fastest growing corridors in our city and has been for a while. And I know it's going to be a welcome improvement for a lot of folks that do have to transverse that every day. So, like I said, we're just full of good news stories, you know, a couple in work session. We'll have a couple, 2, 3 today, so it's another good news story to bring to our citizens.
So let me just conclude one last statement. So we will come back here and also to the, with public hearings, both here at City Council and also out in the public, as we get the design a little bit further along. And we'll definitely do some demonstrations on how to navigate this, because I know it's new. And people may be afraid of it, but we'll show that it moves smoothly and how it works. So
Okay.
we'll come back with that for you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, we'll now move to motions. We have a motion to schedule a city council work session for Wednesday, March 20th, 2024 at 4 p.m. unless canceled, and a motion would be in order. Councilman Fawcett,
Move to approve.
motion for approval from Councilman Fawcett. Councilman Williams,
Second it, Mayor.
second from Councilman Williams. Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
The motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
We'll now move to non-agenda speakers. Madam Clerk, do we have any non-agenda speakers? And if so, please explain the guidelines.
We have no individuals registered for non-agenda speakers.
Okay. We'll now move to new business. Madam Clerk, are there any additions to tonight's agenda?
The following individuals have been nominated for appointment to the respective boards and commissions. The Economic Development Authority of the City of Suffolk, the Holy Neck Borough, Chris Rice, and the Wetlands Board, Kathy Doyner.
Council, a motion would be in order. Councilman Johnson,
Move for acceptance.
motion for approval. Councilman Johnson, Councilman Bennett,
Second.
second from Councilman Bennett. Is there any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
The motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
At this time, we'll ask if Media and Community Relations Director Jennifer Moore has any announcements. Oh, excuse me, let me back up just 1 second before we move there. Sorry, stay right there. You're good. You're good. I forgot to ask, does anyone on council have anything they'd like to bring up under new business for consideration? Hearing none, Ms. Moore, it's all yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Council, City Manager. I'll kick off the announcements tonight with exciting news from the Parks and Rec Department. Director Mark Furlow has announced that Rakita Fafanda has been selected as the Assistant Director of Parks and Recreation effective February 22nd. Ms. Fafanda has worked for Parks and Rec for 22 years. In that time, she has held various positions, including clerk typist, recreation specialist, and youth outreach coordinator. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from St. Paul's College and is a certified Parks and Recreation professional. Congratulations, Rakita. The Suffolk Police Department is scheduled for a virtual assessment from the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, or CALEA, from March 29th through April 5th as a part of their reaccreditation process. The accreditation program requires agencies to comply with state-of-the-art standards in policy and procedures, administration, operations, and support services. As part of the virtual assessment, members of the community are invited to offer comments online regarding the Suffolk Police Department. For more information or to provide comment, visit suffolkpd.com. The City of Suffolk's Public Safety Committee is pleased to announce the launch of its new public safety portal. This online platform empowers residents to share suggestions on community safety improvements and public safety matters in a quick, easy manner. Users also have the option to submit anonymously. Residents are reminded that this portal is not intended for reporting criminal activity and, in the event of an emergency, to please dial 911. For more information on the Public Safety Committee and the portal, visit suffolkva.us. The Planning and Community Development Department is continuing the next phase of the Suffolk 25 Comprehensive Plan process and are hosting open houses for the public to have an opportunity to view and comment on the draft plan content. During this engagement process, community members will have an opportunity to comment on growth area boundaries, the future land use map, key recommendations, and more. Open houses will be held across the city throughout the month of March at the locations on your screen. For those unable to attend, the online comment portal is live through April 8th. For more information or to complete the survey, visit suffolk2045.org. The Suffolk Public Works Department is excited to announce that registration is now open for the 2024 Citizen Academy. The Citizen Academy offers the unique opportunity for citizens to learn firsthand about the inner workings and operation of Suffolk Public Works. Sessions will be broken down to provide an overview of a wide array of services the department provides to the city, from building multi-million-dollar infrastructure projects to emptying your trash can. This free 4-week Citizens Academy will be held on Thursday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. starting April 18th and will conclude on May 9th with the graduation ceremony. For more information or to register, visit suffolkva.us/PW Academy. Suffolk Public Works is also pleased to announce that the construction for the Shoulders Hill Road Bridge Road intersection project is set to commence on April 1st. Message boards will be stationed at the intersection to keep the public informed. This project is anticipated to span 18 months. For additional details on this project and other capital improvement projects, visit suffolkva.us/CIP. Suffolk Public Works advises that the Route 460 Pruden Boulevard project is preparing to shift traffic. The inside lanes in both directions will be closed, directing traffic to the single outside east and westbound lanes. This adjustment is to allow for the construction of a raised median. During the duration of the lane closures, the speed limit will be reduced to 25 miles per hour. And just a quick reminder that the Great Suffolk Cleanup is just around the corner and we still need volunteers. Taking place on March 22nd and 23rd, the Great Suffolk Cleanup is a remarkable 2-day citywide endeavor dedicated to clearing litter and debris from our streets, neighborhoods, and parks. Last year, thousands of volunteers comprised of businesses, organizations, and families joined forces to successfully remove 2,000 bags of trash and nearly 1,000 tires. For more information or to register, visit suffolkva.us/cleanup. And Suffolk Parks and Rec is excited to announce its annual extravaganza event. This event is free and will have children hopping for joy at Bennett's Creek Park on Saturday, March 23rd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Enjoy a petting zoo, crafts, music, bounce houses, and of course, Peter Cottontail himself. Egg hunts will begin at 12, 12:30, and 1 p.m. For more information, visit suffolkva.us. And lastly, on your screen are the various ways for residents and businesses to stay connected to the city of Suffolk. Thank you and have a good night.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Moore. We'll now move on to announcements from City Council, and let's start with Councilman Williams.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be brief. First, I would like to offer my condolences to the family of Janice Lee Davis, who transitioned on March the 3rd. She was such a kind and giving person and will truly be missed by her family, friends, and the Suffolk community. On Thursday, March the 29th, 2024, I, along with Councilman Fawcett, attended Vice Mayor Ward's town hall meeting at Colonel Cherry Middle School. I wanted to commend City Manager, Vice Mayor, and City staff, and the citizens that attended on a great town hall meeting. I'd like to offer special thanks to Mr. Robert Lewis, Mr. Carl Marshall, and the Public Works Department for doing such a great job with paving the roads in Walnut Hill and the Walnut Hill Estate communities. With talking to some of the citizens in the area who has lived there for over 20 plus years, they're glad to see what you guys have done, and they're grateful. And I just wanted to say kudos and great job. Thank you. Al, City Manager, I would like for you to maybe have the staff to take a look at the storm drain covers or grates in the 1 and 200 blocks of South Division Street. They seem to be covered with debris, which is stopping the flow of water, causing it to build up across the road. Also, if you could have the staff look at the entrance to Walnut Hill Estate as you enter the housing development to your right. I was told that during the last storm, a tree had fallen across the street and was actually cut by the fire department, is what I was told. But the debris is still there. If you can get somebody just to remove that, it's an eyesore. So if it's on city property, please, if we can have it removed. The citizens who live in the 500 blocks of Osceola Avenue and Okawaha Avenue would like to have the street sweeper come through the neighborhood as often as possible to clean the curbs and gutters. My word for the month of March 2024 is collaboration. It's the action of working with someone to provide or create something. And with that, I say good night.
Councilman Fawcett.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to be real brief. First off, I see that you, Chief, you got a recruitment up again at the end of this month, 23rd. Everybody out there that would like to become a police officer or think you might on the 23rd, please come out to this open event and see where you, if and where you might place. So we could certainly use the applicants. Along with that, I would like to thank fire and police for all the hard work in the last couple of weeks. I know we've had a lot going on, and from the fire side, you guys have been busy with a lot of different training events. I've been watching that, and that's pretty cool. And you just had your recruit, I don't know what you call it, but anyway, you had your day where all the recruits came in, and you're still going through that, and you had quite a number of turnout for that, which that's pretty good. So we should be able to fill it up with hopefully, if everybody can get through. Vice Mayor Ward, as Leota said, thanks for doing the town hall. Appreciated coming out. It's always good, and I appreciate the manager and all the staff for coming out and spend their evening after a long day to put that on. So I want to thank you. And that's all I have, and hope we see you on the 20th. Thank you.
Councilmember Butler Barlow.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I'd like to thank all the staff that presented reports tonight. It's great to see that you all are being really progressive and forward-thinking and coming up with good solutions to solve the problems in the city. And just appreciate all the efforts and the hard work, and for you all being here tonight to keep us company. I want to remind everybody of the comprehensive plan meetings. There's 3 meetings next week that you can come to. There's some other ones happening here and there, smaller organizations. So you have a chance to still have input on the comprehensive plan. I believe the closing date on the survey is March 31st. And I have had a question about, that's Easter weekend, and wondering if there might be a opportunity to extend that for a week or so. I don't know if there's been any.
Based on the requests that we received by email, I've talked to Keith, and we don't see any reason why we wouldn't extend it for that period.
Okay, good. I don't think anybody anticipated slamming into spring breaks and Easter.
I think it's a little over a week extension. We've been working, or staff has been working hard for
A couple of years.
18 months. So,
Yeah, I know.
I don't think 1
One
week's
more
going to hurt
week.
us.
Couple decades.
I appreciate it, though, because I think, with the holiday and with a lot of spring breaks going on, it impacts a lot of people. So thank you for that. But I hope folks will, like I said, there's 3 different opportunities to come out, and you can access the information online. You can get paper copies. There's still plenty of ways to participate, so please do that. I know you all are used to me talking about agriculture kind of nonstop, and, I'm going to take a break tonight, small break. Everybody ate today, though, so there's never really a break. But I want to highlight the fact that it's Women's History Month, and I'm going to get 2 opportunities to talk to you about that. But I want to say from a personal perspective, looking at some of the information out there, my grandmother, I'm old, but I'm not that old, but my grandmother was born before women had the right to vote in this country. She was born in 1907. Women received the right to vote in the Voting Rights Act in 1920. My mom was 9. It's unbelievable to me that we were there, and thankfully now we're here. So I just want I want everybody to think carefully about that. I also want to make a statement that if you're a woman that lives in the city of Suffolk and you are interested in being more involved in city government or any of our boards and commissions, I would love for you to reach out to me. We need more voices. We need more women's voices involved in the city of Suffolk, and I would love to talk to you more about that. So please feel free to get in touch with me. I stand on the shoulders of some amazing women. My grandmothers, my mother, my sisters, all people that have worked full-time, raised families, and been active in their communities. And I would not be here if not for all of them and their support and the trails that they blazed for me. So I just want to say thank you to all of them and to all the women who've done that for all the rest of us out there. And I would like to close with a quote from former Supreme Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And the quote, as I'm getting a text from my mom, the quote from Ms. Bader Ginsburg is, "Fight for the things that you care about, but do it in a way that will lead others to join you. Whatever you choose to do, leave tracks. That means that you don't just do it for yourself." Thank you.
Councilmember Bennett.
Thank you. I don't have much to report on tonight. I would just like to say, though, that I'll be repeating some of the things that have been said, but I want to also echo the thanks to all the presentation that were given this afternoon, Mr. Lewis, D. Lewis, and I had to get two Lewises there. So each one of you, and Mr. Marshall, I thank you all for your presentation and what you all are doing to keep the public informed and keeping our city intact. And hopefully that the rain will slack up so that you all be able to get a break by summertime. So, because that's probably how long it's going to take for some of this water to go away. So, again, I'd like to thank you all for all that you have presented. The Public Works classes that you all are giving, I think a lot of people have really taken interest in that and learning more about the function and operation of the Public Works Department. And I heard some people that was talking about it, and I think that's a great tool that you're getting the information. And the CDL thing, that's something that really stands out in my mind, and thinking about what that means to so many people. So again, I would just like to thank you for all that you all are doing with that. And with that, we said we're going to try to get up by 7, so I'm going to shut up so we can get up by 7.
Councilman Johnson.
And it seems to be Public Works Night, Mr. Lewis. I'd like to also back up and say thank you very much to the CDL training information was amazing. Thank you very much. You educated the council and the people of the city to what we're doing to make our city a better place to be. The ditch maintenance, I have the utmost respect for what we do through Public Works with ditch maintenance anyway. We're a huge city, and we do a pretty darn good job, but it goes on and on and on, and we all know that. And in the future, we'll see it even work better with the information given to us tonight. I was so pleased to hear about the Godwin Boulevard widening and the PDI. Good information, and the best part about it, good dates on there. We're going to do this thing, and we're not going to push it off into the future. So that's very exciting for the people of the city and for our city, because that is a really, really strong corridor that we need to take good care of. And to the public, if you enjoyed all that information and you like learning new things, go to the Public Works Citizens Academy. I've done it. A lot of us have done it. It's a wonderful experience. You learn all kinds of things, and they're wide open to what they can tell you. So it's a great, great thing. Assistant Parks and Rec Director, I'd like to congratulate Assistant Parks and Rec. I think what really stood out for me for the new lady hired was Rakita Fana, but she wasn't hired. She's been here 22 years. We grew one ourselves. This is one of our employees that has just taken up the job, and I'm so excited for Parks and Recs, and I look forward to working with her and knowing that she's a big part of our city now. One other thing I'll bring up, Sister Cities had their Young Artists and Authors Award. I don't say this lightly, but it was the best one I've ever been to. It was at the Cultural Arts Center. The young people there were mind-boggling. Our schools were very well represented. The local private schools were represented as well, too. But it was exciting to see our kids out there winning these awards and performing. I think Lakeland High School, happens to be in my borough, won a straight shot across on all the musical awards. Nasman River, Kings Fork, they both did well, too. Nasman Suffolk Academy did well. But it was so impressive. We are blessed to have an organization like Sister Cities in our city and doing good things for us. The other thing was I wanted to mention the Suffolk Art League did their annual antique show at Kings Fork Middle School. Again, well-attended. People want to do things in our city, and it was well-attended. There was lots of people there, and I think they made a lot of money. So these are all good events that have occurred in our city in the last couple of weeks, and lots more to come. So with that, I'll say good night.
Vice Mayor Ward. Yes, as you can see that Mr. Lewis and Mr. Marshall, we really appreciate what you're doing. That was a great presentation, and I think that each one of us really feel real good about what you're trying to do for the city of Suffolk. That is real good. I heard about it at the town hall meeting a little bit, but he did say Mr. Marshall will be coming, and you really gave us a great presentation on the CDL. I think that is very interesting, and I hope it worked real well. Mr. Lewis, I don't want to ask you a question, if you don't mind. You already know the answer. I just wanted to make sure that they know, because they asked me this question. With the traffic on 17 like it is now, the people that are coming out of Pewsville, is anything I know about a light or whatever, because you can't go across from one side to the next side. Is there any way we working on a light, or DMV working on a light or something like that? I mean,
There is a consideration, hopefully in the CIP in the future, to finish Plummer Boulevard, which would carry you back out to the traffic signal there at the Obacy Hospital on 17.
so we working on it, or is it in the future?
It's in the future. It's in the plan.
In a way we can speed it up. No. I mean, you know, to see them cars trying to do that, it's like, wow, you know, it's cars. It's really, any way we can speed it up, or any way I can, you know, push a little bit, but, you know, before anybody get hurt. That's what I'm saying, before anybody get hurt. And that's my concern with that.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you this earlier, but you took all my thunder out when we was talking about sidewalks, so I just want the public to know that you know, I had a concern with that. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Mr. City Manager, very seldom I'm gonna brag about Portsmouth and some of the things they do, but this time I have to. I visited a place they call Boom, and Boom Co-worker. And we talked about incubators. And that building, I would like to see if I can get one of the deputy city managers to go down there with me, because we talk about the small business in Suffolk, and it put to shame with some of them incubators I have seen. And when I went in there, it was just blew my mind, being a small businessman like me, that you have all that there, and the way it don't look like an incubator. So maybe one day I can go. I would like to ride down there, maybe with someone, to see that, because some of them brag about what Portsmouth does, but that surprised me that they have that, and we can do it in Suffolk. And a couple of people already said that if we had somebody there, they'll bring their business here. So I would like to see if we can get that arranged for me to go, and what any other councilman want to go, that'll be fine. And I'd like to thank the two councilmen that came, Councilman Williams and Councilman Foster, that came to my town hall meeting. Thank you all for coming. They had some great questions. It wasn't a lot, but they had people, but it was a great question they asked. And I thank the city management for coming, because, you know, they was there, and y'all answered the question quite well. And every time I go to community, they ask me a question, I always tell them to give y'all a call. And it was unfortunate, it wasn't many as I want, but we had some good questions there, and I think that the city workers really appreciated some of the questions they had answered. So I thank y'all so much for doing that, and I appreciate that in a way that I got some phone calls. About 3 or 4 called me back and thanked me for having that. So thank you all so much, 'cause I couldn't have done it without y'all. Thank you again with that. And like I said, Mr. Lewis, I went to Pughesville, and I ain't been there and I walked that community. It don't look the same. With the pavement, where they done the houses, Pughesville, good community. I said it last meeting, and you know, that looked brand new. It looked new. It just looked good to me. And that's some of the things you see what that type of work can be done in other communities. And that's the first thing I thought about. That's not the only community we can be improved like that. But it looked real good, and I thank y'all for doing the work y'all have. And sooner or later they'll appreciate it. But thank you for doing what you have to do. Thank you. With that, I'll say, God bless.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and wrap it up. We did have a couple of what I thought were significant events in the last couple of weeks. On the 27th of February, the Western Tidewater Free Clinic had a ribbon cutting for their dental expansion. I believe Councilman Bennett was there also. I mean, this was a significant addition. It wasn't real large, 1,100 square feet, but it's going to double their capacity as far as their ability to serve those that are underserved or not served as far as dental care is concerned. And that's just been that organization has been a huge blessing to our city. They continue to expand and continue to provide services. Councilman Johnson mentioned the Young Artist Awards that is sponsored by Sister Cities at the Cultural Arts Center. I once again had the privilege to present the awards to the students this year, and I might add a very deserving group of students, very impressive as to the work that they were able to create, and I believe that is still on display at the Cultural Arts Center now, if you want to stop by and take a look at it. March 2nd, Suffolk Humane Society had their Pause for the Arts fundraiser. That was very well attended, and I think it was a huge success. I want to thank everyone who volunteered and all the sponsors and individuals that showed up to support it. I want to congratulate Ms. Fafana on her new position in Parks and Rec. As Councilman Johnson also alluded to, it's nice to promote from within when you can, and I'm glad to see that. If you watched the work session earlier this evening, then you know we had a couple of good news stories there before the regular meeting, as well as some good news stories. And tonight's been a night of good news stories. I mean, we had a CDL license program in Public Works. We've got a ditch maintenance program coming out of Public Works, and both of those programs, I would just want to commend all the individuals who brought that to light. They were going to be a huge benefit in multiple different ways. We also talked about our mutual aid agreement with Fire and Rescue, our neighboring cities. That once again is a good news and a regional effort. As far as fire and safety is concerned, the first they can respond there gets there, even if it's across city lines. So, good news story. Diverging diamond coming off of 58 on the Route 10. Like I said, I still got to wrap my arms around how that works for us that are less than engineer aptitudes, and that would definitely be me. But it would be a welcome addition to, like what I mentioned earlier. It's probably one of the fastest growing corridors in our city. It is going to continue to be that way. So welcome addition. Public Safety Committee, Ms. Moore mentioned that this evening also. Our Public Safety Committee portal is open on the website. Please go to the website. And if you don't do anything except go to the website, scroll down to the bottom. There's a big tile down there that says Public Safety Committee. Click on it one time. You go to another, and you click on that little thing, shows all the different organizations. You don't even have to use it, just find it, so you know where it is when you do get ready to use it. You can absolutely report anything you want 100% anonymously. Or you can choose to put in your name and address and phone and contact information. It is not designed to report a crime, but anything, any suggestion you'd like to make, any issue that you're having that is related to public safety, please put that information, enter that information in that spot and send it. It will go to the manager's office or his rep, and they'll take a look at it and review it, because we're still doing the same things we do every day. When the manager comes to work, he and his employees are going to be addressing issues the same way they have been, but this is in addition to that. So maybe something that requires additional city resources outside of what we've already budgeted for that we can allocate. Once we come up with the budget, we're going to have some money sitting in some places where we can go ahead and address these issues right away with the guidance of the Public Safety Committee and the manager. So please, nothing works unless we get the input. This is a communication portal is what it is. It's all about communication. No one knows what's needed in their neighborhood better than the people that live in the neighborhood. The manager doesn't, I don't, Mr. Lewis doesn't, nobody does. Tell us what you think you need to address those particular issues in your neighborhood, regardless of how small they are or how big they are. Addressing multiple very small issues results in a big thing. So please let us know. We will monitor, think it's monitored. As a matter of fact, we also put into play a way for your inquiries and what is going to the manager's office to also be viewed by the members of the committee, which was Councilman Fawcett's idea. I think it was a great idea. So when you enter that information, the manager sees it, we see it, and we meet every other month, so we will be in a position to act accordingly. The Public Works Citizens Academy, this is second year for that, I think. Third year. Time flies when you're having fun. But I went to the graduation last year. I don't think I've ever seen a group of people so excited about what they got to do. I don't know what else Robert was feeding them, but, I didn't think you could get excited about Public Works. But somehow, I don't know if he fed them the brownies or whatever, but everybody was just ecstatic when I went to the graduation. So it must be something to it. And with that, we'll go to my quote of the night, which has to do with decisions. Because if I can find it here, decisions, go figures. Okay, here we go. Has to do with decisions. And it's by Salma Stockdale, who's an author. And that quote is, "We may think that our decisions are guided purely by logic and rationality, but our emotions always play a role in our good decision-making process." And with that, I will say good evening and ask for a motion for adjournment. Councilman Williams.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve from Councilman Williams. Councilmember Butler Barlow.
Second.
Second from Councilmember Butler Barlow. Is there any other discussion of the motion? Hearing none, council members prepare to vote. Please cast your vote. Madam Clerk, please record the vote.
The motion is approved by a vote of 7-0.
We have met our, Councilman Bennett, we have met our 7 p.m. deadline, and this meeting is now adjourned.